Hey everybody, I got a neat new toy in today, so I wanted to make a little video about it. And I've been playing around with different shots of flowers in macro photography, and I ordered a reverse macro ring for my camera. And basically what it does here, you can see my lens is mounted backwards, and that's exactly what it does. This ring here, let me set this down nice. This ring here clips on just like, ooh, oh, I gotta push the button. Just like you would click in the base of your own camera lens. And I'm working with a Nikon, so basically that just clips on, and now I can mount my 18 to 55 millimeter lens onto it. This is for a 52 millimeter, and there's different ones that you can get depending on what the size millimeter of your lens is. So now that I got this nice and screwed on, and it's tight and I know it's not going anywhere, with this, you're gonna work with your camera in manual mode. Because you're mounting your lens backwards, your camera won't be able to essentially read your lens. And so if you just turn it on and into auto or something, it's going to be confused and it's not going to know what to do. So put it into into manual, or if you're working with Canon, work it in manual mode. So if you look through the viewfinder, it is super dark. You can't see anything. So in my experience, what I like to do, oh, Chicken is making an appearance. So Lauren and Chicken today. Chicken, go, shoot, shoot. And so in I lost my train of thought. In my experience, what I like to do is make sure my camera's either setting on a flat surface or on a tripod. And I got my little enveloper clicky here. If you have a clicker, go ahead and get that mounted up. And I'm going to turn my camera into live view so that I can see actually what I'm shooting. And in my camera settings, I have it at a fairly high ISO because it's so dark, because you have this tiny little hole now that's not letting in any light, instead of 52 millimeters worth of lens letting light in. So I turn the ISO up pretty high, anywhere between 600 and like 3200, just depending on how bright the day is. Today's pretty overcast, so I'm gonna go with an ISO of 3200. And you're not going to be able to set the aperture, but you'll be able to set your shutter speed. So I'm going to try and start with a shutter speed of 1/30th of a second at ISO 3200, and I'm going to bump my exposure compensation up by just a smidge. So on your lens, it depends on what kind of lens you have. On mine, I can bring it all the way forward so that you could see the end lens cap, and as you move it back and forth, it goes further into the camera lens. So as I have it set here in live view, I'm going to manually move the camera back and forth until I get it focused exactly how I want to. So I'm going to take a picture of this little baby marigolds in bloom, and it's got like a neat little twirly piece coming up out of it, and the whole thing, the whole top of it, is maybe the size of my fingernail. I mean, I'm trying to, you can't even see it. You can see some of these bigger ones here, but this little tiny one is very, very, very small. But even right here, it's taking up my entire lens frame. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up and move it a little bit backwards and forwards, and that looks about right. And this is where the live view really, really helps, is that if you're bending down trying to squint through, it's really, really difficult. With the live view, however, your camera needs to be super, super still. So I'm going to go ahead and click. And that looks good. So I'm going to include a couple of ones at the end. Some other things that I did. I got some monarch butterflies laying eggs, so I'm sure I'll be able to find some caterpillars and some other stuff. And it's really a neat little toy. You gotta work it perfectly and just careful enough so that you got it in focus, but overall a really neat toy to play around with if you don't have the money to get a macro lens, which I do not. So just having a regular kit lens, which the 18 to 55 millimeter is the kit lens that comes with my Nikon D3300. Yeah, 3300. And it's really a fun little thing, and I thought I'd share that with everybody. So if you're interested in doing a little bit of macro photography and you have your body but you can't afford a macro lens, try this little adapter. It cost me all of $7 and it's a really cool toy. Bye.